When I was about 16, I went to a party with some of my high school friends. I got really drunk and spent the night on the couch with my friends. Around 3 a.m., I woke up to go to the bathroom. As I passed through the hallway and returned to enter the bathroom, I almost tripped over something. I turned on the light and saw a man in a creepy clown costume leaning against the wall of the bathroom hallway, staring at me. At that moment, I didn't think much of it, shrugged it off, tried to enjoy my drunkenness, did my business, and went back to sleep. The next morning, I asked my friend about the clown costumed man, and he swore he hadn't seen anyone like that, and that no one was there when I was going to the bathroom. I attributed it to being drunk or him playing a prank on me and forgot about it. About 2 weeks later, my parents were out of town, leaving me alone at home. I locked the doors and went to sleep. In the middle of the night, I woke up and went to the bathroom. Turning on the light, I saw that damn clown sitting on the bathroom vanity, looking at me with the most terrifying smile I had ever seen. This scared me a lot. It was unbelievable that this was happening. Quickly exiting the bathroom, grabbing the baseball bat nearby, I cautiously walked towards the bathroom and swiftly entered. I was prepared to strike at his head, but I found no one there. My friend had never come over since seeing that clown in our house for the first time, until just before our initial encounter. These few days troubled me greatly because I couldn't understand how he managed to come into my house. Later on, I searched the whole house with the help of my family, and we even reported this incident to the police, but we got no results. He was nowhere to be found. We moved away from that house, but even then, things were happening to me. For example, on my first night in our new home, after sleeping for about 2 hours, I woke up. I checked my phone for time when something caught my eye from across the room. I shined my flashlight towards it, and what I saw haunts me still in my dreams. It was the same clone, smiling at me, staring into my soul. I fled from the room and woke up both of my parents quickly, telling them about this terrifying incident. Dad checked out my room within 30 seconds, returning saying there was nothing there, asking me to go back to sleep. Since then until now, at 28 years old, I haven't seen that clown again. However, even today, people dressed as clowns still scare me. 2016 was a horrible year for me, to say the least. I wouldn't say I was suicidal, but definitely I did not fear death. My car was in the shop for a couple of days, so I had to walk home from work. About a 6-mile walk if I take roads, but only a 3-mile walk if I walked along the railroad tracks, which I would do at the time. As I passed a heavily wooded road, I noticed I was being followed by, you guessed it, a guy in a clown costume, holding something that I couldn't tell if it was a baseball bat or a machete. I don't know if he knew I didn't notice him or something, but I started walking slower and he slowly caught up to me. When he was about 50 feet behind me, I put my backpack down. Instantly, turned around and started sprinting at him while screaming like an insane person. He screamed and ran away from me. I didn't really saw him after that.
I don't know if many of you remember this, but back in 2016, there was a creepy clown trend where people dressed as creepy/killer clowns would hang out in places after dark or stalk people. My story takes place on my college campus during fall of that year. I lived with my grandparents before leaving for school, and I am extremely close to them. Also, I am very shy and had zero friends or people I regularly hung out with at school. I wanted to reach out and meet new folks, so I signed up for a salsa dancing club that met on Friday nights. I told my grandma over the phone, and she was happy I was putting myself out there. She asked if I was going with anybody. No, I told her. I'm just gonna go by myself. Are you sure? She asked. Don't any of your roommates want to go? The idea of talking to my roommates terrified me. I could handle structured gatherings, but personal conversations left more room for my awkwardness to creep in. No, they're not here. I don't want you walking around campus by yourself at night. I thought my grandma was just being overprotective. Grandma, it's fine. The streets are well lit, and it's only a 10-minute walk. It's perfectly safe. Well, if you're not going with anybody, call me and let me talk to you on the phone as you walk back. I agreed. That evening was incredibly fun, learning the basic steps and dancing to upbeat Latin tunes. At around 10:30, I felt ready to head back to my dorm, so I snuck out of the building and headed toward my dorm. Although the paved path I was walking on was lit by streetlights, it seemed darker than usual. In addition, the entire campus was deserted. Normally, there were quite a few kids my age wandering around, but that night there was not a soul to be seen. I dialed my grandma and made small talk with her as I walked. I took my heels off and carried them in my free hand. Now, the path I was walking on went past a stretch of sidewalk that was perpendicular to the one I was taking. Under one of the streetlights, about 10 meters away, I noticed a lone figure standing with its back toward me. The figure, hearing me chatting on the phone, slowly turned toward me. He was tall and heavy-set, with wild red hair and appeared to be wearing light blue pajamas. His face was obscured by a killer clown mask. The mask was stark white, with dark black eye sockets and a twisted, malicious grin. Time seemed to suddenly slow way down. The clown did not move toward me. He simply stood there, staring. I knew I had to think fast. I contemplated my options. I could A. Scream like a little girl and run, B. Approach him and confront him, or C. Pretend he didn't scare me. The entire moment I just described couldn't have lasted more than a second, but in the moment it felt like an eternity. Are you there? I heard my grandma say. Remembering to breathe, with the phone still at my ear, I decided to go with plan C. I broke eye contact with the clown. So anyway, I said loudly enough that the clown would hear me. Yeah, I'm on my way. I can mute. Lopsided_squid, what's going on? Is everything okay? I heard my grandma ask, her voice suddenly filled with anxiety. As confidently and nonchalantly as I could, I walked past the sidewalk where the clown was standing, continuing to chat. His head slowly turned as I walked past, watching me until I was out of sight. I ducked into the archway of the nearest building and tried the door, praying it was unlocked. It was. Once I was inside, I slumped against one of the concrete walls and broke down tears. I explained to my grandma what had just happened. My grandma yelled for my grandpa to dial the campus police on his cell phone that I could stay on the line with her. I got up and started pacing and down the empty halls, checking every door and window to see if the psycho clown had followed me. Was he just a stupid kid doing this on a dare? Or was he someone with more evil intentions? Some of the creepy clowns in the news had axes or baseball bats. I had no idea if mine was armed. When my grandpa tried to explain to the officer on the phone what happened and that I needed help, he told my grandpa, "Your granddaughter needs to make the call herself." Apparently, the reason I had to talk to them was so that they could be sure the call wasn't just a prank or some stupid reason like that. The point is that they wouldn't take my grandparents' word that I was in distress. I would have to hang up with my grandma and dial the campus police myself. Not knowing if I would survive the night, I told my grandma between sobs, "I love you. I love you too." My grandma was also crying. I dialed campus police and told them who I was and what had happened. The officer on the phone sent several other officers to find me while I stayed on the phone with him and gave him a description of the clown. As I was talking, I heard a door open. I froze. Was the clown here? Did he find a way in? A tidal wave of relief washed over me. Several officers came striding down the corridor. They walked with me back to my dorm. As soon as I was inside, I locked my door and window and I shut the blinds. I called my grandma back to tell her I was safe. After talking for a little while longer, I said goodnight. Since then, I've made a few friends at school. While I'm in a better place now, I don't go out alone after dark anymore. And for that creepy clown, let's not meet again.